Hey there. Hey there. Okay, so I heard you were having trouble lighting a match. Now, it is a pretty tricky thing to do. I understand completely. I've been in your shoes. I've been there before. You know, struggling to figure it out, just how the mechanics of it all work, and just it's a tricky thing. I get it. I get it. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you light a match. Now, this might take a little while, so hopefully you've got a bit of time on your hands because it's a bit of a lengthy process because it's a bit of a challenging task. But that's what I'm here to do. So, if you're willing to spend some time with me, I'm willing to show you the ropes, walk you through what it takes to light a match. Okay, so I just happen to have a box of matches here now. Right off the bat, we're already using some advanced techniques right now, and we're only like one step into the process. So let me just back it up. Okay, we're just gonna put the box of matches on top of the microphone temporarily. That way, it's just right there. You can't really see it. I could raise the microphone up a little bit, maybe. I'll take it off in case it falls over. We're just gonna raise this up just a bit, just a bit. I don't know how much noise this is making. Probably some noise. I think that'll be high enough for you to be able to see it. Maybe. Okay, okay. Boom, you can see it. Wow. Okay, perfect. Perfect. All right, so you have your box of matches. Now, these are just your regular matches, right? And they're sitting there in the table, in a drawer, wherever they may be. And you want to use them to light something on fire, obviously. Okay, so what do you do? Well, first you have to locate them. We have located ours right here, but it may be a little bit trickier for you to locate yours. All you have to do is have your eyes open, look around your environment until you find them, generally by, visually seeing them, although they do make a pretty good rattling noise. So there's a chance that you could locate them through, echolocation, using your sense of sound. But generally, I would say you're going to locate them using your sense of sight. So we have located our test box of matches here. So we've located them. Now what? Now we have to pick up the box. And now this is, again, where you start to get into some of the more, challenging techniques. I personally have my own style, and you may find that a different style works better for you, but I'm going to teach you my way just because it's the way I know the best. In fact, it's a little embarrassing, but it's the only way I know how to do it, honestly. Just because it's just, like I said, it's a challenging task, and I haven't mastered every technique. I've only mastered this one. So anyway, so we want to pick up the box of matches because we want to use them to light something on fire. So what we're going to do, now stay with me here, is you're going to use your hand, either hand. I generally use my right hand because I am right hand dominant, but you can use whatever hand you want. All right, so I'm going to use my right hand to pick up the box of matches. Now what you're going to want to do is, you see how your thumb, it's opposable. It's opposable because it can oppose the direction of your other fingers. That's important. Not every animal has that feature. So humans are kind of special in that regard. It allows us to pick things up when other animals wouldn't be able to. At least with their hands, they can pick stuff up with their mouths and stuff, and they often do, but we're getting sidetracked. We're not animals. I mean, you could pick it up with your mouth, but again, that's a technique I have not mastered, so I won't be showing you that one. Anyway, we're going to be using our right hand. Now, the thumb is very important. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, put that thumb in an opposed position where it is opposing the direction of those other fingers, and then you have kind of like this claw, right? You have a claw shape to your hand. It looks like a claw. It looks like a claw. You've got a claw-shaped hand, and that's important. You're in a good position. If you can get to this point, you should be able to pick it up with relative ease. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come to the box, and you're going to want to put the claw, you got the claw, you're going to want to put the claw in a position where, the box is in between the claw, right? That's important. if you try to pick up the box, not doing that. So like say I have the box outside of the claw, I can't pick it up. It just doesn't work. But if the claw is inside, or if the box is inside the claw, and I go to pick it up, I can pick it up. Now, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but just bear with me. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is when you have the box within the claw, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to close the claw. Now bring your fingers closer together until eventually they should touch the box. And now you want to apply an amount of force. Obviously, you probably have the strength to just crush the box entirely. You want to be careful not to do that. Now, I did that on my first few attempts trying this technique, and that's not good for anybody because you just destroy the box, and then all the matches go everywhere, and that's a fire hazard, and you don't want that. So, just apply a force enough so that the box doesn't slip out of your grasp, but not enough that you crush the box, right? So, just a light pressure. And what you're going to want to, what you notice when you do this is that you can actually move the box. You have officially picked up the box, which is good. Now, I'm holding it in a slightly different, I had it like this, and now I'm holding it like this. Once you, start to learn the general techniques of how to pick things up, you can start to do certain flourishes like this, where you can hold the box in different, ways that look cool and stuff like that, right? So, anyway, we're holding the box now. This is going to be kind of important. You have your left hand, and you might be right hand dominant. You probably are right hand dominant, just because most people are. But you have your left hand for a reason, and it's important to use it. Don't neglect your left hand. So we're going to pass things off between the left hand and the right hand throughout the remainder of this tutorial. So just be aware that you can do everything with your left hand that you can do with your right hand, albeit not quite to the same dexterity, right? But it is possible. Same technique. You make the claw, and then you can close your hand around the object, and you can move it around. It's like I said, I don't feel too bad about not understanding it right off the bat. It took me a while to get it, and I still don't know every single way to do it, right? So anyway, but we have the box of matches in our hand. One of our hands, maybe you took it to your left, and now you don't know how to get it back to the right. Don't worry. It's pretty simple. You just do the same thing in reverse. So you're going to, make the claw with your right hand again, and then transfer it. You can do that as many times as you like. There's no limit. So that's good to know. So we have the box of matches in one of our hands. I'm going to put it in my left hand for now. Okay, so we have the box of matches. Now what you'll notice about this particular box, and not every single box of matches is the exact same, but we'll get there. What you'll notice about this particular box is that it has a cardboard shell around a cardboard tray. Now I'm gonna jump ahead just to demonstrate what I'm talking about, so don't worry too much. I'm gonna be showing some things that you don't understand yet, but this is just to demonstrate what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna push this out a bit, and what you'll notice is you have this cardboard tray inside this cardboard sleeve. You see that? You see this? This is just a cardboard sleeve, right? And then this is just a cardboard tray. So this is what we have. This is what you have. Maybe. Like I said, not every Matchbox is exactly the same, but most of them function in some similar manner to this. So what we want to do is, the matches are inside the tray. So we want to make the tray accessible. And currently it is not accessible. You'll notice, I can move this in any direction and none of the matches fall out because they're contained, which is a good thing, because when you store the box of matches, you want the matches to be contained, right? You don't want them spilling all over the place. So this is good. It's good for storing them. It's not good for using them because we can't get at them right now. So this is an important part of the technique, right? So what we're going to do, so two of these sides, you'll see two of these sides show the tray. On the other four sides, there are 6 sides to any, rectangular prism, any cube. And this is a rectangular prism. So there are 6 sides to any rectangular prism. So 2 of these sides, this one and this one, are the sides of the tray. And then the other 4 sides, which are this one, this one, this one, and this one. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? These 4 sides, This one, this one, this one, and this one. Those are the sleeve, the shroud. Those are not important right now. So you want to locate the two sides that are the sides of the tray. Now you can tell this. You can tell this by you can feel or look on the object. You'll notice that the sleeve is one continuous piece of cardboard, whereas the sides that have the tray, you know, there's a separation. That's important. So if you can locate the separation, you've located the tray. So that should be pretty straightforward. All right, so now what we're gonna do, and this is a little advanced, like I said, but I think you can handle it because you've been pretty receptive so far. What we're gonna do is we're gonna hold the Matchbox in an orientation that is roughly parallel with the ground, right? So generally you have like one large side. We want that side, you know, parallel with the ground, right? Okay, so we're gonna hold it like that, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take one finger. You can manipulate your fingers so that only one of them is sticking out, and we're going to push our finger against the side of the Matchbox that contains the tray. Okay, we're gonna do that, and what you'll notice is when I do that, the tray comes out. The tray comes out. Now you don't need to pull the tray out entirely. You can if you so choose, but it is not necessary to get the matches out, okay? And it can actually hinder you in some ways, so just be careful. I would recommend not pulling the tray all the way out. It's just not necessary, and it could get you into some trouble, so just be aware of that. So we're going to leave the tray about like that. You'll see the matches are inside the Matchbox, inside the tray there, and we've pulled the tray out. Like I said, you can pull the tray out all the way if you want, and then we've just got this, but we're not going to do that. So in the event that you do accidentally pull the tray all the way out of the shroud, you might be wondering, well, how do I get it back into the shroud? Well, that's fairly simple. All you're going to do is kind of the same thing in reverse. So you have your tray and you have your shroud. Now you're going to line up the two sides that match. Now you'll notice here that only one orientation here works. So I can try to do the long side to the short side. It doesn't work. Long side to long side, nothing happens. The fat side to the fat side, and the fat side to the long side, and the fat side to the short side, nothing works. There's only one orientation where this works, and that, it kind of works to your favor. It makes it so that you can't really mess this up, at least not super easily. So what you're going to do is going to line up the two sides that match. So we've got a short side here and a short side here, and then you're just going to take them and push them together, and they should go together. And then there you go. You've got your matches back in the box. Okay, but let's go back to where we were. Okay, we were here. You've got your matches visible, so we need to get one out because we have to use it. So you're gonna take your fingers now. We were talking earlier about the claw, right? You can do the same thing. We'll call it the small claw. You can do the same thing with just one finger, your thumb and one finger. Generally, your first finger, but you can do it with any of your other fingers as well. It is possible, but generally, the first finger is the most dexterous. It's the one that you can use the most effectively, so it's the one I recommend you use in this situation. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make a small claw, and you're going to want to come in here and use that small claw to grasp one of the matches. Now once you have it grasped, you can pull it out. Now you'll notice it kind of gets blocked by the shroud, and now that's kind of the advantage of pulling the shroud all the way off, is you can just grab it and pull it straight out. But like I said, if I drop this, the matches are going everywhere, so you might not want to do that. So we've got our matches. If we grasp one match, we can't pull it straight out, but what we can do is kind of angle it, like you'll see, and that kind of happens naturally. Like I don't really have to do anything. Like if I just pull it up, it just naturally becomes angled because of physics. So what you're going to want to do now is you can actually just slide it in the direction that it is currently pointing, and it will come out of the box. And so now we've got our match separate from our Matchbox. Now what we can do here is we can just push the tray back in. So now we've got the box contained again, and we have our match outside. Now we're in a good position right now. So we have our match, but we want to light things on fire, because that's, obviously. You'll notice everything comes back to the Matchbox. You'll notice two sides of this Matchbox. Now, it's not guaranteed that it will be on two sides of every Matchbox. Sometimes it might only be on one side, but this Matchbox does have it on two. On two of the sides of this Matchbox, there's this weird pattern. Sometimes it's circles. In this case, it's hexagons. I don't know if you can really tell. Yeah, you can kind of tell. In this case, it's hexagons, but there's going to be some kind of pattern. Sometimes it might be solid. I'm not sure. I think generally it's broken up into some kind of pattern, but there's going to be what is called the strike strip or something like that. So it's going to be this material, and you can kind of feel it. There's a textured feeling to it, almost kind of like sandpaper, just like a very, very fine grit sandpaper. So it'll feel like that. So that's a good way to locate it, is just by feeling it, you know. And again, you can locate it by just visually confirming that it is there. Now what you're going to want to do, you'll notice the match has a red end. The other end of this match it has nothing. It's just the wood. All right, so the one end is red and the one end is just wood. The designers of the match did a great job in using this to let you know which end of the match you should use to strike. So we're going to be using the red end. Pretty hard to mess that up, okay? So just keep in mind the red end, you think like fire, like hot, like, ooh, you know, we're trying to burn something, we're using a match. The red, you know, red hot, red fire, that sort of thing. So just, you know, in your mind, associate those two things. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take that red end, and you take the strike strip, and you're going to want to put the red end on the strike strip. It doesn't matter where exactly. I generally would recommend you start on one side or the other, because that gives you the maximum amount of distance you can use to strike it. But you don't always need to use the entire length of the strike strip to light the match. So, you know, you can start in the middle if you want, but you know, for a beginner like you, I would recommend starting at one end or the other. And then what you're going to want to do is, while maintaining contact the whole time, you don't want to lift it off of the. It's very important that you maintain the contact of the red part of the match with the strike strip. You're going to want to strike the match. You're going to want to run the match all the way along the strike strip, applying a decent amount of pressure. Obviously not enough to break the match, which can happen if you push too hard. I certainly messed up like that my first few times, but it happens to the best of us, you know. What you're going to want to do is, you know, you're going to want to do that, and you're going to want to generally do it pretty fast, because you'll notice here, like, nothing's happening. You can probably hear that. Nothing's happening. You got to do it fast. You got to do it pretty fast. Otherwise, it's not going to light. So here, I'm going to just demonstrate it really quickly for you. Okay, so if that happens, that's not bad. You know, sometimes that happens. In this case, the match has split in half. That's something I've never personally encountered before. So there's a first time for everything. That goes to show just how chaotic the world can really be. You know, anything can happen. So we're gonna keep going. If it doesn't work the first time, you can always strike it a second time and try and get it to work that way. All right. So don't ever be afraid to restrike it. So we're gonna give it another go. Okay, we failed. Like I said, I'm still a bit of a beginner myself. I'm working in kind of close quarters with the micro. Anyway, we're gonna try a third time. My problem with that one was that I lifted it off of the strip, like I said you shouldn't do. So there we go. Anyway, we're gonna try a third time. Okay, this one is just bad, I think. I don't know. A lot of the red part is falling off of this match. If all of the red part falls off of the match, you won't be able to light the match. So that is important. You'll have to give up at that point or get a new match. But we're gonna keep going because there is some red still on this match. So let's try again. Okay, we're trying again. We're trying again. It's not working. And I hit the mic, I'm sorry. We're going to try the other side. You never know. So you can always alternate the strips. Okay, we got a spark there and some smoke, but nothing actually lit. Okay, this match has died. We failed. We failed. It's a bit embarrassing, I have to admit. Here I am acting like I'm a professional match lighter, and I can't even light my first match. It's a little bit embarrassing. But we roll with the punches, so we're gonna try again. Okay, so I've got a second match. I know I did that kind of quick, but you can always rewatch that part of the episode, video, not episode. It is what it is. Let's try again. Okay, that time we got it to work. Okay, excellent. So now we have the fire. You can set fire to anything you want. You just generally put the flame on the thing that you want to light on fire. And yeah, that's how it works. Now, heat rises, so if you don't want the flame to go out, you can always hold the match upside down and the flame will crawl up the stick. It's kind of burning my hand a little bit, so we're going to blow it out. I made a lot more smoke than I was expecting. Now, it's kind of important. Sometimes there are things that you don't want to set on fire. The match can still be quite hot even after you've blown it out, so it's important not to put the match on something flammable after you've blown it out, or put it in the trash just right away, right? That can be dangerous. You can end up lighting things that you don't intend to light on fire. So just keep that in mind. In this case, we're going to put it on something that's not flammable. So yeah, and there you go. You should have a closed matchbox. You should have a match that's on fire, or something else that's now on fire because you lit it with the match. That's how it works. That's generally the idea. Now, just in case, I was talking about how not every matchbox is exactly the same. I wanted to give you a few examples of different matchboxes, and I have a few different matchboxes here. And there's a key difference between these matchboxes. So here we have the matchbox we just demonstrated with. It's pretty small. It's about maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches tall, and about maybe like 1 inch wide or so. It's pretty small. It fits in the palm of my hand, pretty small. But what if your matches are a lot bigger than that? Don't talk to me or my son ever again. What if your matches are a lot larger? Well, you'll notice here, and this kind of makes things convenient. These are like the same exact thing, just like one's way bigger than the other. This one's like 4 times larger. In fact, it might actually be exactly 4 times larger. But yeah, so same principles with this particular design. You'll even notice they've gone the extra step to ensure that you understand exactly what to do. They've got a thing here that says push gently to open. Very handy in case you forget. So what we're going to do here, we're holding it, obviously. We can put it down for just a second to demonstrate that yet again. So you make the claw, and we can pick it up. And then we're gonna follow the directions. We're gonna push gently to open, and it's gonna open on this side over here. Now, what you'll notice that these matches are a little bit bigger. Let me get one of the old matches to compare to. You versus the guy. No. Anyway, these are the matches that we're dealing with. These are the big matches, and these are the small matches. Now, they're actually not that different in size, honestly, but the one is certainly larger. So how does that change things at all? Well, not too much, but you might need to adjust your technique just a little bit, and you'll notice that the shaft is a little bit longer on this one. Now, please take this seriously. The shaft is a little bit longer, and what that means is that it can be a little bit more prone to breaking. Now, it is a little bit thicker to compensate for that, but you never know. So you might not want to hold it all the way at the end, because you might be tempted to, because obviously this side is going to catch on fire, and you don't want your fingers to be super close to the fire, right? So you have to find a nice middle ground between, not putting too much leverage on the middle of the shaft and then risking breaking it, while also, not putting your fingers too close to the end so they burn when that happens. We're running out of space on our phone hopefully this lasts for the rest of the video. We can always use the sneaky trick where we just start recording again and the phone doesn't realize that it's out of space yet. Anyway, let's go ahead and give this one a light. Now this box is much the same as the smaller one, just larger. So there are 2 strike strips on this box, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our match, put it at the end of one of the strips, and we're just going to, we're going to run the match along the length of the strip, and it should light on fire. Hopefully we can get it on the first try this time. All right, there we go. Now what you'll notice is, well, actually, what you'll not notice is, I was going to say the flame is a little bit bigger, but it was actually a little smaller, and it died instantly. That can happen. Sometimes you get a dud, but generally, the bigger the match, the bigger the flame. That's just how it works. So that's how you do things with the bigger matches. But what if, now I know what you're saying, Connor. What if I've got really big matches? Now, what we've got here is really big matches. Now these are a little bit different. You'll notice the box is different. If I rotate this box around, there's no strike strip. Where's the strike strip? And you'll notice there's no tray. I can push. Oh no, we ran out of space. Hold on. We're just gonna start recording again. Don't listen. Okay. Don't tell the phone that it's out of space yet. Okay, it doesn't know. All right. What you'll notice is that on this end, there's no tray. I can push on this and nothing happens. I mean, it flexes a little, but nothing is really happening. And what about on this end? Well, that looks a lot like the strike strip, but it's in a square. It's not a strip anymore. What is going on? I know it's confusing, but bear with me. This box is a little bit different. So instead of being a tray and a shroud, this is just a typical box, okay? So like any other typical box, it's going to have one end that is intended to be opened. In this case, it's going to be this end. And you'll notice it's actually kind of open a little bit already. Now this is just because, things happen. The real world is chaotic, like I've already said. And so things don't always close perfectly. So this one likes to be open just a little bit at all times. But that's okay. The matches still don't come out, it's all good. But we can actually use this to our advantage. Now your Matchbox might not be exactly like this, but it shouldn't be too big of a challenge if it isn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the end. You'll notice it makes kind of like a triangle. We want to grab the larger end of the triangle. We're going to use the small claw again, and we're going to grab the larger end of the triangle, and we're just going to pull up. Now it might be kind of tricky, but don't be afraid to give it a little bit of extra force, and eventually it should come out. You can just put your finger under there and push it over. It might bounce back a little bit, but that's okay. That's just the way the world works. And then we've got these 2 flaps here. You're going to want to take your finger or your thumb. Generally, I'd say your finger's better. And you can just put it on this side, and you kind of pull. You kind of pull in the direction of the flap, and it can be opened up like that. And again, it can bounce back, but it probably won't go all the way back to close. And then we do that again with the second flap. So we're going to pull and open it up like that, and now you'll notice the box is opened. We're going to use the small claw once again to pull out a match. You'll notice the matches are in there like that. We can grab the end of one of the matches and pull it out. Now this is a rather large match. Let me just do a quick comparison to the original match. This match doesn't even, I mean, look at that. That's just crazy. This is a large match. This is a very large match. But it works just the same way. You'll notice one end is red and the other end has nothing on it. So it's just wood with a red end. All right, so let's light this match. What are we going to do? Well, we've got an open box still, and we need to close it. Not only because we don't want the other matches to get out, but because the strike strip is on this end, and we need it closed in order to more effectively strike the match. So, to close this box, it's pretty simple. We're just going to do everything in reverse. So we're going to take our finger and press on this flap until it is, mostly closed. And then we can do the same with this side. And now they're going to bounce back a little bit, but that's not a big deal. Then we're going to do the same thing with this main flap. We're just going to push that down. And now what you'll notice is it has this this tongue, right? We need this tongue to go in this gap right here. There's a gap right there between the flaps and the outer box. We need this tongue to go in that gap. So with your other finger, while this finger pushes down, I know it's a bit of an advanced technique, but don't worry too much about it. I'm confident you have what it takes. You're going to want to push down with this finger while this finger pushes towards the other finger. And if you do things correctly, you should be able to close the box. Now you notice it doesn't open up, the matches don't fall out. That's perfect. If you get to that point, you've done everything correctly. All right, so now we've got the strike face, and you'll notice this one's not long, so you don't have a lot of room. So you're going to want to also, again, like I was saying, this match has a very long shaft. And if you hold it all the way at the end, it probably will break when you strike it, so you don't want that to happen. So you're going to want to hold this one a little bit closer to the end, and you don't need to worry about burning yourself because, you know, you can still be pretty far away while still being a little choked up on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it, and I know what you're wondering. Can I strike this match on the other Matchboxes? You can. You certainly can. We're not going to, though, because that's a little too advanced, but you can, don't worry. There will be a more advanced tutorial later on where I show that, but for now we're just going to strike it on the one that it comes with. So you're just going to again put the match on the strip and then strike it while rubbing it against it as fast as possible. Maybe not as fast as possible, but just relatively quickly. So let's go ahead and give it a shot, and we've lit it on fire. Now again, heat rises, so if you set the matchbox, or if you set the matchstick upside down, the flame can carry on up the stick. Whereas if you hold it like this, it'll have a lot harder of a time, you know, getting down the stick, and it might even go out potentially. Now with this particular matchstick, it's quite large, so it has a lot of material to burn. It can get quite hot, so that might not happen, but still, it's worth remembering. See, like I was saying, I didn't really do anything, and it's already out. There it goes. It's gone. So keep that in mind. If you want the match to stay lit, maybe the thing you're lighting on fire isn't ready to be set on fire, or maybe, you know, for whatever reason you have to wait, and you've already lit the match, and you don't want it to go out, you can hold the matchstick at a downward angle, and it should keep the flame lit. So there you go. Just make sure it's cool. It seems pretty cool. So we're just gonna put it down. All right. So there you go. That was how to light a match. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been, you know, very educational, very informational. Because I tried really hard, and, you know, I spent all this time with you, and for you to not have, you know, taken it to heart and learned something, that would be a little disappointing to me. Now, if you have struggled, that's perfectly acceptable. Just don't give up, okay? You can always rewatch the video over again and, you know, just try your best to figure it out. I'm sure if you follow the steps exactly as I have told you, you should be able to get it within a few attempts at the very least. And if you don't, again, don't give up. That's the main thing. Don't give up. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.